All right, CNT140, Chapter 1, we're looking at development of television. Again, the book is walking through developments in time with, telegraph, telephone, radio, television. All this is leading to developments in cable technology, and moving information across media, across cables. So just kind of keeping that in mind. Um, the U.S. started experimenting with telecasting television, if you will, under government regulation. No commercial stations allowed. Unfortunately, World War II interrupted the development of television because, again, as we looked at radio development in the 30s into the 40s, the World War II was ideal for developing all that technology. The development of TV, World War II interrupted that. World War II interrupted the emergency of television in the U.S. and Britain. After World War II, the FCC designated 13 VHF channels. And I show you another example of the electromagnetic spectrum over here. Gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet, visible light, infrared, thermal, microwave. Here's radio and television. Now this small frequency band is getting further divided by the FCC saying, okay, let's use this for this, let's use this for this, let's use this for this. So now, again, this small band of frequencies are getting divided up, saying, okay, we're going to use this frequency band for this stuff, this for this. So FCC sets aside some space for television signals to be developed and television signals to be broadcast in certain frequency bands. 1920s, the TV became reality because of the invention of the CRT, cathode ray tube. 1950s then, again after World War II, black and white television started becoming widespread. And I put these up because these would be samples of the kind of television you saw in the 50s. Again, almost like a piece of furniture in your house. And I threw this guy up because this is one of my favorite, black and white television shows, Gunsmoke. Just a little side note there. 1949, estimated 10 million people viewed a telecast of the Truman inauguration. Up until that point, you heard it on the radio. Now you can actually see the person, the physical person, in as it's happening. It's like, wow. Okay. Subsequent years, capabilities expanded, UHF, color, satellite, etc. So now in the 60s, we have satellite television. In 1965, commercial satellite TV. So now people started having satellite dishes in their backyard to pick up satellite transmission. Prior to that, if you were receiving television, you had a antenna that kind of reminded you of, I should have put an example in here, a T with a whole bunch of lines sticking off that you put on top of your house to pick up the frequencies for television stations. I forgot to put that picture in. Doggone it. So now, after development of television, the next obvious thing is, okay, can we broadcast greater distances? That's where the satellite TV development comes along. With that then comes the development of cable television. Okay, cable TV. Cables originally combined to programs over the air stations. FCC in 1962 granted permission to originate programming and accept advertising. So if we look at the traditional cable television network, what happens is, what cable TV was in the initial days was basically a company that had lots of really good antennas that could pull all the signal in for you, and they put it onto a cable and run it to your house and hook it to your TV for you. So you were subscribing to, or you were paying a company that had really good antennas to get a really good television signal for you. That's how cable TV started. So what happens is the cable TV company has a head end. The head end is basically an antenna farm, for lack of a better term. Antennas here picking up local television stations. Satellite dishes picking up satellite TV from HBO, from ESPN, that sort of thing. They combine all these together with encoders and equipment, and combine all of these channels coming in from the different antennas and dishes into little frequency bands to send it across, if you look at the left side over here, send it across a structure, a coax cable structure, out to houses. Okay, the right side is what it looks like more today. So let's focus on the left side for right now. So all their antennas and their encoders, their modulators, take those signals and put them into frequency bands onto a cable and run it to your house. And as I look at this structure is what we would think of as a bus network, because we're network people and we're nerds. So this is your typical cable television structure. From the head end, there would be a 1-inch rigid coax. As it gets out to neighborhoods, that starts getting split into smaller size coax until eventually it goes into your house to what you're used to as seeing as coax, a 1/4-inch piece of coax cable that is coming into your house, like we have up here. Okay, so 1-inch, 1/2-inch, then boom, into your house 1/4-inch. The downside to all this, you see very quickly with this bus structure, is you and your neighbors are all sharing this, and if any point along here breaks, I could be losing my whole neighborhood of signal. The whole neighborhood could lose their signal. Along with this, developed stations like HBO, home box office network, and now they actually have the ability to, or I should say, with the development of cable TV, along came the development of these different programs and different specialty programs to come across the cable network. That's how I should be saying it for you. As we move ahead to today, the cable structure is a hybrid fiber network. So instead of having all these coax lines going out to your neighborhood, what they typically do is run fiber out to a box near your neighborhood and then coax to your house or your neighbor's house. That's more what it looks like today. Some of us might actually have fiber running to the side of our house, but that still is kind of a special case. Not everybody has that. So it looks more like this in many cases. Fiber out to a box in your neighborhood and then coax lines to people's houses. All right, we'll come back in the next podcast and talk about computer networks and, again, the cabling developed through cable networks.